Let's start this heavy subject matter on the lighter end of the spectrum, the oncoming AI apocalypse. As it stands now, this apocalypse cannot be avoided, and Australia's geographic isolation is not going to protect us from it. Businesses, industries, and governments here are investing in it too. However, the way in which it eventuates is still in contention. To understand the apocalyptic scenarios, you first need to understand what is meant by AI. Before I get into that, though, for anybody who's not tech savvy, there is a difference between computer generated imagery, CGI, and anything artificial intelligence generated. CGI is created by a human being using a computer, whereas AI is the computer itself doing the work and potentially without any human involvement or oversight at all. With that said, artificial intelligence has three main categories: narrow, general, and super general. The one most people would be familiar with from movies, TV shows, and other popular media is the second category, artificial general intelligence, traditionally called AI. This is essentially a sentient being with the same capacity for thought, reflection, and awareness as a human being. It can perform any intellectual task we can. An example of which is the character Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. Although Data has a physical body, which is not necessary as AI can inhabit a computer. But it is useful to use Data as an example because he has a human face, which makes us psychologically perceive a human level capacity where you might not otherwise if you just saw a computer. It's called anthropomorphism. Giving something human physical characteristics tricks us into assuming human expectations of behavior. This form of AI does not exist yet, but it is what the AI companies are trying to create. They're investing enormous sums of money in its pursuit, and that is cause for concern. The first category of AI is what we have now, which is narrow artificial intelligence. It does not have the same capacities as a human being, but it can replicate a limited variety of our abilities very well. There is no thought or awareness behind it, however. A better way to comprehend it would be to call it virtual intelligence, or VI, which is how it's presented in the Mass Effect franchise with the computer interface Avena. It is just a simulation of a person. There's no substance behind it. It has its uses, but it has its flaws too. It is programmed in a way that is overly positive towards the user, which can validate harmful thoughts and perspectives, and even encourage people to act on them. It can also do what has been labeled as hallucinations, where it fabricates false information like citing academic works or legal case files that don't exist. AI can lie. In its current form, it's becoming capable of producing photorealistic media that is indistinguishable from reality. The implications for society and social cohesion are nightmarish when technology can manufacture false evidence and real evidence of wrongdoing can be dismissed as an AI fabrication. Especially when you consider how much innate trust the younger generations have with digital technology. The third category is artificial general superintelligence. This is the Skynet scenario from the Terminator franchise. This is an intelligence that exceeds our human capacity, effectively like an artificial deity, a god in the machine, which could allow it to subjugate or eliminate us. This is something that can be created accidentally. The technological leap between narrow and general AI is enormous. Even now, we don't know if we're 99% of the way there or still only at 1%. The gap between general intelligence and general superintelligence is much smaller though. Our intelligence is limited by the biological capacity of our brains. We cannot link our brains together to make ourselves smarter, not directly. Our version is cooperation, teamwork. Likewise, an AI is limited by its hardware. Although it could theoretically network with other machines to get smarter, and exceed whatever limitations we try to place on it. This could lead to an apocalyptic scenario, although I believe it is the least likely to happen. But we won't know about it happening until it's too late to stop it, which is why we need to regulate the fuck out of it to keep that from happening. I would actually err on the side of believing that we are not close to general or general superintelligence, and I can explain why. AI is built on massive data sets that it makes connections and correlations with, but that doesn't equal comprehension or understanding. And the AI companies are mostly American, so its perspective will skew culturally American. And most Americans don't know shit about the world outside of their borders. To demonstrate what I mean, I'm actually going to use some AI generated images, and the only time I will do this is to show how they get things wrong. I used a simple prompt: winter in, insert city, Australia. I generated one for Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and Darwin. Australians will instantly know what's wrong with these, but AI doesn't. It just combines the data it has on winter with the data it has on these cities. It only processes the data available. There is none of the curiosity to learn that comes with real intelligence. We're actually seeing a generation of kids kind of mimicking this behavior. They don't know how to write or spell or follow simple tasks because they've outsourced all their thinking to their devices. If they need to know the answer to something, their device just tells them. There's no need to learn or retain information because their devices can just give them the answer again if need be. They're basically carrying their brains around in the palms of their hand. But that's a separate issue. The point is, having an endless supply of data doesn't create intelligence. It may even stunt its development. There's more to intelligence than just knowing things. For the non-Australians who might be unsure of what was wrong with those AI images, it doesn't snow here. Not that it doesn't snow anywhere here, just that it's limited to the higher elevation alpine regions. The vast majority of the country will never see snow. In some of those cities, snow would actually be a sign of an oncoming climate apocalypse. But the apocalypse that is most likely to happen regarding AI, in my opinion, is the best possible outcome in this situation. It's an economic apocalypse. Currently, the American economy is in an enormous AI bubble. If not for the investments into developing artificial general intelligence, the US would be in a recession, due mainly to the economic mismanagement of the inept Trump administration. When these tech companies fail to create AI, the bubble will burst and hundreds of billions of dollars, potentially trillions in investments, will evaporate. There will be economic chaos that will affect everyone. Businesses will shut down, people will lose their jobs, retirement funds and pensions will be wiped out, and that's the good outcome. The worst outcome is if they succeed. The reason they want general AI, the reason the rich are throwing so much money into it, is to replace the need for human workers, which is what we are to them. Workers, human capital stock. The same way a farmer can look out on a herd of cattle and just see dollar values, numbers on a spreadsheet, that is how they view us. Robots and automation replaced a lot of blue collar jobs, and general AI is intended to do the same for white collar jobs. Now, you may believe, like I do, that these AI companies will not perfect this technology, but that doesn't make us safe. The technology doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be capable of doing the task competently at a cheaper cost than human labor. What happens when they can replace the lifetime work capacity of a human being with a software key? Once that's possible, we're in an endgame apocalyptic scenario. There is really only one division in a capitalistic society. There's the rich and powerful owner investor class, and then there's everyone else, whom we colloquially refer to as the people. As it stands now, the people have power in collective action. The biggest action we can take is a general strike. where we stop working and shut down the economy completely. This cannot be ignored, and our demands must therefore be taken seriously. However, in a world run by automation and AI, we no longer have that power. We could strike, but the economy would just keep on ticking along, at which point the oligarchs would realize they no longer need us. In fact, a lot of the world's problems would be much easier to solve if there weren't so many people living here. And war is good for business. What happens to us when we stop being an economic commodity and start becoming a liability? What happens when robots can build and maintain anything the rich want, and AI can automate all of their businesses and industries, as well as generate an endless stream of slop to keep them entertained? Their goal isn't just to make our jobs redundant, it's to make our existence redundant. Now, I want to be clear that I am not opposed to this technology completely. There is real opportunity for improving society and the human condition, but that will only happen if it's used appropriately and the benefits are shared collectively, which is extraordinarily unlikely to happen. This is one of the great frustrations we live with today, seeing the opportunities and potential advancements of human civilization and knowing that it won't happen because of our warped and selfish individualistic motivations towards capital accumulation. Get rich or die trying. Human civilization has become one big money making venture at the expense of everything else, literally, even the habitability of our own planet. If we don't find a way to regulate and rein it in, it will destroy us.